Hey everybody, it's Mithu Raman here. Thanks for tuning in once again. And this particular video has been inspired by a book that was recommended to me, in which I've had a chance to have a read through. And it's called, very simply, Doctors as Patients. And it's been compiled by the Doctors Support Network, the DSN. I'll put a link to them down below. They're a wonderful, wonderful organisation who are based in the UK, and they help doctors at times of stress and emotional upheaval, and give advice and support on how to move forward. Now, I highly recommend having a read the book because it's full of case studies, most of the time written by actual doctors and medical students and various other clinical staff, but mainly doctors. And what they have talked about is their experiences of, in some cases, quite severe mental health issues, ranging from severe depression, suicide, parasuicide, all the way through to schizophrenia, psychosis, and these are colleagues, these are doctors who, for the most part, remain practicing and are in full-time employment, which is amazing. And it does go to show, first of all, quite how common mental illness is within the medical profession, and also about how, with the right support, a lot of our colleagues, even under very difficult conditions, can still move forward. What I've something I mentioned actually in previous videos is about how doctors in particular can be quite slow in asking for help, and sometimes this can lead to quite disastrous consequences. So it really does become clear from reading the stories that and some of the poems that are in this book about how important it is to seek advice and help, and to have a mindset of, being open to being helped in whatever circumstances that you're in. It reminded me a lot of a patient who was a female GP who was one of my patients. And without going into all the details of it, just working pretty much full time, very stressed, having relationship problems with her boyfriend, and not really having any time to spend with him and the kids, mainly because just caught up in the work, overwhelmed, just too much on her plate. And one evening, after a long day at work, she was finishing about 7:30. It was dark. She drove out of the surgery car park and collided with another car. Luckily, nobody was hurt in this particular incident, but it was a genuine wake-up call for her that if she carried on like this, she would end up, in a very, very serious condition, and she didn't want that. And fortunately, we got to take some time off, and I gave her some advice on communicating better with her family, and she made a really, really good recovery. What was interesting in that case, though, during the time that I was consulting with her, one of my questions to her was a bit like an interview, really. So where do you see yourself in a year's time, or so where do you see yourself in a year's time? And her answer, not entirely jokingly, was, well, surviving the year, doctor. And then I asked, how do you see yourself in 3 years' time? And said, I can't even picture that, which is really interesting, isn't it? You see, and it's true for a lot of us, and I get it, because similar. I've been through similar things myself. But if you don't have a clear picture in your mind of where you want to be, of what you want to achieve, it's very difficult to achieve that. It's kind of like somebody saying that, me asking, where do you want to go, and they'll say, I don't know. It's very difficult for me then to point them in the right direction, isn't it? it's see, the most successful people, they are very big on setting a clear vision and clear goals for themselves, and I strongly recommend doing so as well. I call it the big vision. I'll cover this in another video, but because most of us won't really get, well, luckily won't be involved in a car crash as a wake up call. It's kind of up to ourselves then to make the decision to ourselves that we need to do something to move forward, to get out of whatever situation that we may be struggling with. And as I know from speaking to a lot of you and a lot of my colleagues, that there are plenty of people in that situation. So 3 things that to take away from here. 1, acknowledge that there's a need to change, whatever the situation is. Number 2, set a clear picture in your mind of what it is that you would like to have, to be, to do in 1 year's time, 3 years' time, 5 years' time. And number 3, go get help in achieving it. And just to say that if you are suffering from any sort of physical or mental health issues, and you're working through them and you're practicing as a doctor, you have the greatest and utmost respect from me, because it's a hard job at any time, even when you're feeling 100%. So know that with the right support, there's nothing that can't be achieved. And I really, really hope that this has been helpful to you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. This is Muthuraman. Stay resilient.